I'm Nancy Landrum, and I'm so excited to introduce to you today Zack and Stacy. They have been clients of me in the past year, and they agreed to share some of their experience with you tonight. So tell me, I don't care who says, but tell me, what was the condition of your marriage that prompted you to look for help?
Well, for me, it was becoming very distant from Zach, kind of checked out, 100% checked out. I was ready to just make that decision of in or out. And it was not, I mean, it was that simple. I'm in, I'm out. And I was definitely leaning towards out. Um, and then Zach, thank goodness, searched you and found you, and that's when we started seeing you.
And how were you feeling, Zack, about the condition of your marriage at that time?
Once again, very distant, but I was very like anxious, nervous all the time. I just felt like there was I I just felt really distant to where I felt like I there wasn't an out for me. There wasn't any way to I didn't know how to get us closer. And then when when I was looked you up and I looked how you have more of a like a structured program um, where it's not just go in and talk and you know complain about each other. It's in fact it's anytime we ever started that you kind of just stop that real quick and um, and just had really good practical skills to work on and a study guide and a program to go by.
And that we have forever.
Yes, we have it today. We still have it with us, and we can look back if we have issues and we want to try to we forget something. We could always go back and look at it for sure.
And I just want to say, I always love the fact that you never once took a side.
Yes.
And that is so important because we have had marriage counseling before, and it was always a one-sided. The counselor would pick sides pretty much. And that's when Zach and I decided this isn't for us. We're not going to do this. I mean, I'm not perfect. He's not perfect. We're both in this, and you never once chose sides.
Oh, thank you for that acknowledgement. That means so much to me. Do you mind if I recall what your first appointment was like?
No, go ahead.
I remember, Stacy, that you walked in with a long list of complaints, and you would not let me open my mouth until you finished reading the whole thing to me. Do you remember how very angry you were?
Yeah, I was not at you, but yes,
I
I was
know.
really angry.
Well, a lot of things had piled up over a very long period of time, which is what created the emotional distance between you, the anxiousness, the anger. And I just loved that you were so brutally honest, frankly.
Maybe too much, but yeah.
No, it didn't scare me at all because I remember being that angry myself, when
Yeah.
Jim and I were in the worst of our marriage. So that didn't scare me. It didn't offend me. But later we kind of laughed about it. Of
Mhm.
appointments down the road, we laughed about it. Do you recall what you learned first that began to turn the relationship around?
The the big thing for me was learning that I could express my opinion or um tell tell her that I have an issue without feeling like I was going to be kind of attacked for it. Like I felt safe to bring up an issue that I had, and Stacy will tell you, doesn't mean I was good at it. I didn't do it enough. I didn't practice it enough. I should have practiced it even more. But the bottom line is it definitely gave me a feeling of safety to bring stuff up if I had something. And because that was our relationship before. There wasn't good communication at all. And I feel like the biggest thing that I got out of the program right away was that we needed to have a better way of communicating and feeling safe to communicate with each other. And I think that it's one of those things where there's, so many built I had built up so much of that fear that I wasn't totally safe, but I felt a lot more safe than I did before.
Do you remember, Stacy, at what part in the coaching process were you able to let go of that huge burden of anger?
It, it was because when we came to see you, I honestly don't believe Zach knew everything that I was feeling. Um, and I felt really comfortable having you there and me being able to get it off my chest and talk to him about it. And I do believe him finally hearing it, he became softer and more open to understanding the way I was feeling, which was making me feel closer to him.
Yes,
And
of
we felt like
course.
he would shut down, like he just wasn't, that's what I felt before, like he wouldn't really listen or um, thought I was overreacting in times, which I never felt. And that, I mean, maybe he felt I was, but me inside, that wasn't my perception. I was feeling it. And
Yeah.
so coming to you and you helping us be able to talk about it with one another, it finally opened his mind to, oh, maybe I'm not really responding the way that she needs from me, so that helped me a lot.
So it sounds like you both needed the experience of being able to freely express
Mhm.
yourself and know that you're going to be heard.
Right. And me doing it without getting upset and angry and yelling and
Right.
walking away.
without without responding by attacking.
Yeah.
Gosh, I just remember that you were a couple that got the quality of your marriage got turned around so quickly.
Mhm.
It was amazing. In fact, it's giving me goosebumps now just remembering it. It was just amazing how quickly you turned things around, which is a real credit to both of you, your willingness to learn something new, a new skill, and then put it into practice.
Yeah. And I did mention it to you too, that it was so important to me um, to make sure that Zach and I were the best parents we could be too.
Yes.
And I didn't feel like I mean, the way we were being wasn't good for Kieran. And whether Kieran saw it or not, he's a smart kid, I'm sure he did. Um, it meant a lot to me for Kieran to have both of us in his life, happy, loving, and nurturing parents and family. And so, yeah, that was super important to me.
If I remember correctly, there was a time when he walked into your wherever you were watching TV and you were cuddling with each other while you were
Yeah.
watching TV. What was his comment?
He said, I don't know if I like you guys seeing Nancy because we're being so loving and cuddly. He's like, I don't know if I like this.
I forgot about that. Funny.
You were also having difficulty agreeing on rules and consequences, boundaries
Um,
for him. I suggested that you read my book, Pungent Boundaries. I
mhm.
remember you came back the following week very excited because you finally understood how you could set some appropriate rules with
Mhm.
appropriate consequences. Because if I remember correctly, Zach, you were not very involved in parenting.
Not as much as I should have been. Working a lot, and then just various reasons I didn't. You're right. I wasn't as involved with discipline and rules as I should have been.
So, as I recall, there was an issue where if Zach made a step or set a rule for Karen and you didn't like it, you would back up your son against
Yeah.
Zach. Is that accurate?
Yeah. And I believe a lot of that stemmed from to me never having a dad. So I didn't exactly know how to accept someone else coming in and telling me what I should do with my child. You know what I'm saying? So that was hard for me because I've never had a dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I didn't know what to feel, or I almost felt like, okay, he's attacking my son. I can't let that happen, kind of thing.
Well,
Yeah.
dad energy is often very different than mother energy. You know,
Yeah.
kids need both, but you began working more as a team
Yeah.
in regard to your son. Do you recall what he said to you one day shortly after that started?
That what happened, you always have dad's back now. What why are you how come you don't have my back like you have dad's back? And I did have his back, but I just knew now that I I had to respect and listen to, what Zach had to say about the situation. It wasn't all about, okay, what I think and what Kieran thinks, and we're just gonna bash on dad. Um, so yeah, Kieran did say that to me. Why do you have dad's back all the time now? Yeah.
I got a big chuckle out of that
Yeah.
because, from what I know about child psychology, children derive their sense of security from mom and dad operating as partners, mom and dad loving each other in agreement. And the only time that should not happen is if one parent is seriously being abusive to the
Right. Never
child.
have.
Yeah, that would never happen in your house.
No.
So recently, there's been a new development that has impacted your relationship even more. Would you like to share about that, Stacy?
Um, well, I had a moment, an awakening, I guess you should say, because I went down a dark place again. And then, and I even talked to you about this, Nancy, about Christianity, and I know how deep you are in your Christian faith. Um, I found God, which I've always believed in God, but nothing like now. And so that has helped our marriage immensely too. And a lot of the strategies that you learn from the Bible, or even I listened to the podcast Rick Warren, which I love him. A lot of his teachings are the same thing of your teaching. So it kind of worked hand in hand. So that has helped me as well. So you, God, yeah. It's a win-win.
Do you
You've
know
been sent by God, Nancy.
when Jim and I were hurting so badly, I remember many times telling God, you run an orderly universe. We can count on gravity. We know what centrifugal force is. There must be laws that govern relationships. And I want to know what they are because just like I respect gravity, I'm not going to step off a 10-story building.
Right.
If I knew what the relationship laws were, I would obey them because I want the result of a happy, loving marriage. And even though both Jim and I were very literate when it came to knowing the Bible, memorizing lots of scripture, we didn't really know how to put into practice in our relationship, love one another. This is the will of God concerning you. We didn't know how to do that when we had such strong disagreements and were fighting so often. And yet, after we learned these skills and got our marriage turned around, all of a sudden, these relationship laws were on every page of the Bible.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was very amusing. Well, I'm so I just love you guys so much. I had so much fun.
We
Nancy.
love you too.
Tell me, what advice would you give a couple that is perhaps experiencing what you were once experiencing in your marriage?
For me, I would say give it a chance. I mean, there's no amount of money
Yeah.
that is worth
Losing your marriage.
losing your marriage for. And I would do it 1,000 times in order to have this the result that we have now. After from last year to this year,
Mhm.
I
Huge
would,
difference.
yeah, I'd pay anything for it. Simple as that.
Oh gosh, good advice, Zach. How about you, Stacy?
And he pretty much, whatever I say is not going to be as good because that was it. But just that I have no regrets. And I love the fact that if there is times where we are struggling, which there really hasn't been, but there could be, different things happen different times in life, and we will always have all that information to look back on. It's not something that you go to a therapist, you get a book, you read it, you're gone, and then therapy's over. It's we have this stuff. We have it still with us that we can always refer back to. And I feel that's really important too.
Both of you said such valuable things. You know, one is that it's worth any price to get your marriage straightened out. And the other is these are skills that now you have them in your marriage playbook. You have them for the rest of your life.
Right.
Anything that may come up in the future, you have the skills to know how to work it out.
Yes. And
Thank
we
you.
have you to thank for that.
Yes.
Thank you. And I also just want to say, I love that you were so open to sharing your experiences as well.
Yes.
I've never had not that I've had a lot of therapists, but they never, it's all about what we're going through. They don't share their experiences, and you doing that makes it so much more comfortable
Makes it relatable
and
too.
relatable, and we're not the only ones,
Yeah,
who are
right.
going through this.
You're definitely not the only ones. And thank you for that, Stacy.
Yeah.
I believe that teachers should teach from their own experience, not just concepts
Yeah.
Right.
or outlines, but if it's not real to me, then I shouldn't be teaching it.
Right.
Makes sense. Yeah.
In fact, you're just demonstrating my goal. I don't think I've done a good job until you don't need me anymore.
Oh, but we always want you in our life. You're amazing.
Well,
You're
I will always welcome being in your life, but you have what you need to work
Yeah.
your marriage without needing constant appointments from me.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For sure.
Thank you so much for your willingness to share your journey. And I didn't hear anything that I want to cut out of this video. Did you?
Oh, good. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you again. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.